Let's talk about two key figures in the WNBA and off-season basketball. It looked like that Kelsey Mitchell and Jonquel Jones and Jewel Lloyd and Camila Cardoso may be headed over to play in the new Project B basketball league.
Angel Reese has stayed quiet for months, but her silence has only made the whispers louder. After a full season of non-stop criticism, online hostility, and constant pressure from fans who never seemed satisfied, it looks like she has finally reached her breaking point.
Everybody noticed real fast she's not on an Unrivaled roster. By the way, Unrivaled's in some trouble already. They're in some trouble already.
A new opportunity is calling her name, one far away from the noise of the WNBA, and now, after weeks of cryptic posts and private training sessions, the truth is starting to surface. Angel Reese might be preparing to walk away from the league entirely. What she decides next could shock everyone watching.
She had more success in Unrivaled from January to March. She won the 3-on-3 league's inaugural championship with the Rose BC, didn't play in the championship game, and was named Defensive Player of the Year.
From the moment Angel Reese entered the WNBA, the spotlight refused to leave her alone. What should have been a promising, exciting rookie year quickly turned into a season filled with tension, unwanted attention, and non-stop criticism. Every game she played was sliced apart online. Every mistake became a clip. Every missed layup became a meme. No matter how well she rebounded, no matter how strong her defensive presence was, a crowd of loud critics followed her everywhere she went. Fans who never watched her full games somehow had the loudest opinions about her. Comment sections filled up with negativity even after her best performances.
Chicago Sky superstar Angel Reese continued her development into one of the best WNBA forwards in 2025. She led the league in rebounding for the second straight year, averaging 14.7 points, 12.6 rebounds, 3.7 assists. She was better this year. I mean, I'm not going to act like she wasn't. In particular, her shooting percentage did go up.
Analysts compared her unfairly to players who never faced the same level of scrutiny, and highlight pages, looking for quick clicks, started isolating her misses instead of showcasing her growth. It reached a point where the constant humiliation became part of the conversation around her name.
At the time of publishing, Reese has not officially announced any plans to play for another professional basketball team this offseason, putting her in rare groups like Caitlin Clark and Asia Wilson with a potential WNBA lockout looming. The only clue Reese has given about the offseason is when she said, quote, quietly minding my business.
Through it all, Angel tried to keep her composure. She worked, trained, and pushed herself to get better. And she did get better. Her numbers went up. Her awareness improved. Her confidence on the court grew, but the more she improved, the louder the critics became, almost as if they were waiting for her to slip. Instead of celebrating her progress, fans picked apart every detail, creating an exhausting cycle that followed her long after the final buzzer sounded. People close to her noticed the change first. She stopped posting regularly. She stopped interacting with fans. Her captions grew shorter. Her presence grew quieter. She trained in silence, stayed focused, and avoided anything that might fuel another wave of negativity.
But a social media post out of the blue on Sunday suggested that big news is on the way, and it got plenty of people's attention in response to a fan on X who posted about missing Angel Reese play basketball. The Sky Star responded soon with a winking emoji right here. I miss Angel Reese hoops, watching highlights. Soon in caps, winky face. I saw this.
But silence can be powerful, and this offseason, Angel's silence started to raise questions. She was no longer reacting to the noise. She was distancing herself from it. And as the pressure from WNBA fans continued, another opportunity began opening behind the scenes, one that did not come with constant insults or unrealistic expectations. It came with something she had not felt in a long time, a sense that she might finally be appreciated for who she is and how she plays.
I don't know if she's going to announce she is going to play on Unrivaled. Somebody pulls out. I don't know. I don't know how that's going to work. Team USA, that entire scenario, I believe, starts the second week in March, as far as actual qualifying games, I think. And that's where we think we'll see Caitlin Clark play actual basketball again. There's a world where they could be on the same team, actually, on Team USA.
When the WNBA offseason arrived, Angel Reese didn't make any big announcements, didn't tease any upcoming projects, and didn't drop a single hint about her next steps. Instead, she chose something far more powerful. She went silent. No interviews, no explanations, no reactions to the constant chatter around her name. And for fans who were used to hearing from her frequently, that silence became the beginning of a rumor storm that spread quickly across social media. At first, people thought she was just taking a break from the noise. But as days turned into weeks, fans began noticing patterns that did not look like a simple off-season reset. Angel started posting short training clips with no context. Just a few seconds of her working in a dim gym, headphones on, eyes locked in. The comments exploded instantly, with fans asking where she was training, who she was training with, and what her next move would be. But Angel ignored all of it. Not a single reply. Then came the moment that changed everything. A random fan on social media posted about missing Angel Reese on the court. It was meant as a casual comment, but Angel responded with one word that sent shockwaves through the entire WNBA community. Soon, that single word, paired with the winking emoji she added, created immediate chaos. Everything from conspiracy theories to elaborate predictions filled the timeline within minutes. Fans dissected the emoji, the timing, and even the capitalization. Why say soon unless something major was about to happen? People began pulling up old interviews, old posts, anything that might offer a clue. Some speculated she was joining Unrivaled again. Others predicted she was going overseas. A few even wondered if she was stepping away from basketball altogether. But the most interesting rumor of all came from fans who noticed which players she suddenly stopped interacting with, and which athletes she started following quietly. It was subtle, but it was there. Angel Reese's digital behavior was shifting, and people who paid attention could feel it. Her silence wasn't a retreat. It was a transition, and the more she refused to explain herself, the more convinced fans became that she was preparing for something bigger than the WNBA expected, something that would make her next move impossible to ignore. As Angel Reese stayed quiet, another storyline in women's basketball started growing louder. Project B, a new global basketball league launching soon, began picking up momentum after several WNBA stars announced they were joining. What started as scattered rumors quickly turned into major headlines when Jonquil Jones, a finals MVP and one of the league's most respected players, officially signed on. That single move shifted the entire conversation. If athletes of that caliber were jumping ship, something serious was happening behind the scenes. Project B wasn't just another off-season league. It was built around a different philosophy, one that focused on giving players freedom, financial security, and worldwide exposure. The league promised competitive pay, elite training facilities, and international marketing opportunities. And unlike the WNBA, where players often feel boxed into the same narrative, Project B offered a fresh start. New teams, new faces, new markets. No baggage. Word began to spread that the league planned to operate in major cities across Europe and Asia, offering players the chance to build global brands. It was a chance to reach millions of new fans without the constant negativity that weighed on certain athletes in the WNBA. For someone like Angel Reese, who had been battling public criticism from day one, that kind of clean slate was appealing. But the biggest shift happened when fans noticed how Project B players began publicly supporting each other online. The community felt different. It felt unified. Instead of tearing down mistakes, they celebrated wins. Instead of magnifying flaws, they focused on growth. That kind of environment was exactly what Angel had been missing. Then there were the financial whispers. Even though the league avoided releasing exact contract details, insiders hinted at salaries far higher than traditional WNBA offseason options. The idea of stability, respect, and a positive environment began looking more attractive by the day. And as more news emerged, more fans began asking the same question. If Jonquil Jones made the leap, and if other stars were rumored to follow, what was stopping Angel Reese from doing the same? Because from the outside looking in, Project B wasn't just another league. It was becoming a movement, and Angel Reese was watching every step of it. Angel Reese has always been a competitor, but even the strongest competitors reach a point where the pressure becomes too heavy to ignore. Throughout her rookie season, the WNBA promoted her heavily, marketed her image, and leaned into the attention she brought. But at the same time, the league did very little to protect her from the non-stop ridicule and hostility circulating online. Every mistake she made was magnified. Every clip of her struggling was shared more than any moment of success. And while the league claimed to celebrate its young stars, Angel often felt like she was left to deal with the negativity alone. What made things worse was the double standard she faced. Other players could miss shots, have off nights, or go through shooting slumps without becoming the center of viral jokes. But when Angel had one bad moment, it dominated timelines for days. Analysts compared her unfairly. Fans mocked her relentlessly. Even some WNBA supporters who claimed to want the league to grow used her as a punching bag whenever engagement numbers dipped. Behind the scenes, Angel could feel the shift. The same media that hyped her during college began using her name as clickbait. The same fans who once praised her energy suddenly nitpicked every aspect of her game. And while she continued to show up, work hard, and remain professional, the emotional toll kept growing. It is exhausting to play while feeling like half the world wants you to fail. Then came the humiliation during off-season coverage. Analysts on panels joked about her missed layups. Comment sections filled with insults after highlight pages chose to post only her worst moments. Even league-friendly publications seemed to treat her mistakes as entertainment. Angel had spent her entire life proving people wrong, but now she was stuck in a cycle where improvement didn't matter. The narrative overshadowed the reality, and that is when the possibility of leaving began to feel less like an escape and more like a necessary step. Project B offered something the WNBA could not give her at that moment: a fresh start, a league where she would not be attached to the internet's negativity, a platform that valued her potential rather than turning her into a storyline. Angel Reese didn't just reach a breaking point, she reached clarity. As the pressure inside the WNBA continued to tighten around her, the world outside the league began shifting in Angel Reese's favor. Project B was gaining momentum, signing stars, building teams, and creating headlines every week. At first, Angel was simply observing from a distance, but as more players announced their involvement, her interest grew. She started paying attention to the contracts, the player treatment, and the support system that Project B was promising. For the first time since entering the WNBA, she saw an environment that looked genuinely healthy. Behind closed doors, her team began gathering information. They studied the schedule. They examined the training resources. They looked into how the league planned to market its top players. And what they found was a structure built specifically for athletes who wanted more control over their careers. No toxic commentary, no recycled narratives, no pressure to fit into one mold, just basketball, global growth, and a platform built to elevate rather than drag down. The most important factor, though, was respect. Project B executives made it clear that they wanted Angel not because she was controversial, but because she was talented. They saw her rebounding dominance. They saw her defensive improvements. They saw her work ethic, and they valued it. To them, she wasn't a lightning rod for social media. She was a cornerstone player with star potential. The financial side added another layer. Project B didn't release official salary numbers publicly, but insiders whispered that their top athletes would be paid amounts the WNBA could not match. The idea of earning more money, gaining more exposure, and playing in an environment designed to uplift players was too appealing to ignore. Then came the timing. The WNBA was heading toward a potential lockout. Uncertainty filled the league, and many players were hesitant to commit to off-season leagues. Meanwhile, Project B offered a clear path, a stable plan, and a global platform. For Angel, it wasn't just about basketball. It was about stepping into a space where the noise couldn't drown out her progress. She did not announce anything publicly. She did not confirm her plans. But behind the scenes, she understood what Project B represented. A chance to rebuild her narrative, a chance to escape the chaos, a chance to finally feel appreciated. The first real sign that Angel Reese was planning something major came from a small shift that most people almost missed. Fans began noticing that she was no longer interacting with the same WNBA circles she used to. The playful comments disappeared. The reposts stopped. The usual off-season jokes and reactions were gone. Instead, Angel started following new trainers, international athletes, and a few names quietly connected to Project B. It was subtle, but it was enough to raise eyebrows among fans who watched her closely. Then came the workout clips. No captions, no explanations, just the sound of basketballs hitting the floor, her locked-in expression, and a level of intensity that looked different from past off-seasons. She wasn't filming for content. She was preparing for something. The comments filled immediately with questions about her next move, but Angel kept her responses minimal and controlled. It was clear she was being intentional with every decision. The turning point came when fans noticed she wasn't listed on Unrivaled's returning roster, a league she previously played in, a league she helped elevate. Her absence from the announcement created instant shock. Within minutes, speculation erupted across social platforms. Why wasn't she returning? Did she decline? Was she overlooked? Or was she waiting for something else? That is when her soon reply resurfaced. Combined with her silence and her absence from Unrivaled, the message suddenly felt different. It wasn't casual. It wasn't playful. It hinted at something forming behind closed doors, something too big to reveal early. As more stars joined Project B, the puzzle pieces started aligning. Angel Reese training harder than ever. Angel Reese distancing herself from WNBA noise. Angel Reese stepping away from familiar off-season leagues. Angel Reese dropping cryptic hints instead of explanations. Fans who had once mocked her suddenly switched to curiosity. What was she preparing for? Why was she being so careful? And why did everything feel like it was leading toward one specific destination? Her silence was no longer confusing. It was strategic. Angel Reese was positioning herself for a move that would shake the entire basketball world. As rumors kept swirling, the conversation shifted from whether Angel Reese might leave to whether Project B was simply the perfect place for her to reclaim everything the WNBA spotlight tried to take away. The more fans compared her situation to what Project B offered, the more the move made sense. This was not about running away. It was about stepping into an environment built to support players instead of tearing them apart. Project B positioned itself as a league where athletes could breathe. No politics, no constant online battles, no forced narratives that overshadowed their talent. Players would have more creative control, more freedom in branding, and more opportunities to build international followings. For someone like Angel, who had a massive audience even before entering the WNBA, this was a chance to grow without feeling punished for being herself. Then there was the culture. While the WNBA struggled with internal drama, cliques, and non-stop fan division, Project B promoted unity. Players joining the league openly celebrated each other. They encouraged collaboration. They boosted each other online. And they presented the kind of environment Angel always thrived in during her college years. A supportive team culture is not a small thing. For a young star dealing with constant negativity, it can be life-changing. Financially, Project B offered stability that WNBA could not. With rumors of large contracts, global sponsorships, and flexible schedules, joining meant more money, more security, and less pressure to constantly prove herself to a hostile fan base. And with the WNBA facing a possible lockout, many players saw Project B as the safest and smartest move for their careers. But the biggest reason this league fit Angel Reese perfectly was respect. Project B valued her as a talent, not a headline. They saw her as a foundational player, not a social media generator. They admired her intensity, her toughness, and her growth. They didn't judge her for the noise around her name. They cared about what she brought on the court. For Angel Reese, Project B wasn't just an opportunity. It was a chance to reset her image, rebuild her confidence, and play basketball without carrying the weight of constant humiliation. It was a fresh start waiting to happen. As Angel Reese continued her silent preparation, the WNBA entered one of its most uncertain periods in recent memory. Talks of a potential lockout began circulating. Contract negotiations across the league grew tense. Star players expressed frustration with scheduling, PE, travel conditions, and the emotional burnout that came with being in the spotlight. For many athletes, The upcoming season felt like a ticking clock, and for Angel Reese, it created the perfect opening to make her move. With the league facing instability, players began exploring alternatives more seriously. Some considered overseas deals. Others evaluated unrivaled. But Project B stood out from the rest because it offered something no other option did: clarity. While uncertainty grew inside the WNBA project, B released organized plans, consistent announcements, and genuine communication. Players knew what cities they would play in, what months the season would run, and what marketing support they would receive. There was confidence in the structure, and confidence is exactly what Angel needed. Fans began piecing things together. Angel was not signing up for distractions. She was aligning herself with stability. She was preparing for a league that showed appreciation instead of criticism. And with elite players like Jonquil Jones, Alyssa Thomas, and other stars rumored to join, it became clear that Project B was building more than a roster. It was building a new era. As the WNBA's tension grew, so did the likelihood that Angel's next chapter would begin elsewhere. The fans who once mocked her now worried they might lose her. The critics who laughed at her training clips suddenly fell quiet. Project B didn't just offer Angel a fresh opportunity. It threatened to take one of the WNBA's most discussed players and turn her into a global star outside the league. The decision Angel is preparing to make isn't just personal. It could shift the balance of power in women's basketball. It could accelerate the rise of Project B. It could influence other young stars who feel trapped under the same scrutiny she endured. And if Angel Reese does join Project B, it will mark the moment the WNBA realized the noise it allowed around her did not just damage her image. It pushed her straight into the arms of a rival league ready to treat her right. Angel Reese's journey, through constant criticism, rising pressure, and non-stop public humiliation, has brought her to a crossroads that could reshape her entire career. What began as silence has grown into a movement, and every sign points toward a fresh start far away from the noise she endured in the WNBA. Project B offers stability, respect, and a platform that values her talent without the negativity that surrounded her. And if she chooses to make the jump, it won't just be a personal decision. It will send shockwaves through women's basketball and signal a new era for players seeking real support.